What if I told you a 5-cent coin with Thomas Jefferson's face could be worth more than a house? These rare Monticello nickels are selling for millions. Let's find out why. Imagine for a moment that you are standing in line at the grocery store. The person ahead of you is a few cents short, frantically digging through a worn leather wallet. They pull out a handful of change, counting out pennies, dimes, and a single, seemingly insignificant nickel. You watch as they drop that 2000p Jefferson nickel into the cashier's tray, indifferent to its fate. They are a spender, looking at that coin and seeing only its face value. A mere 5 cents to be traded for a loaf of bread. But you are a collector. You are a hunter. And in that split second, you see something they do not. You see the ghostly outline of a building on the wrong side of the coin, a faint, almost imperceptible shadow of a second strike. You see a potential ticket to financial freedom. As that cashier slides the coin into the register, you are gripped by a chilling thought. What if you just let that coin go? What if you just watched $790,000 slip through your fingers because you weren't paying attention? Stop scrolling. Right now. Go check the change in your car's cup holder. Don't laugh. I'm serious. Because we are about to talk about the coin that is rewriting the rules of modern numismatics. The year 2000 was a turning point. It was the turn of the millennium. Y2K was a bust. The internet was just beginning to roar, and the U.S. Mint was cranking out millions upon millions of Jefferson Nickels at the Philadelphia facility, marked with that tiny P just to the right of the date. To the average person, they were just pocket change. But to the Mint, the machinery was aging, the pressure was immense, and the demand for circulating coinage was at an all-time high. In this high-speed, high-stakes environment, things went wrong. And while the Mint caught most of these errors, a few slipped through the cracks. In fact, an authority like Mike Byers of Mint Error News has documented that there is a specific class of error from this period that stands as a genuine anomaly in United States coinage. These are not just coins that were struck off-center. We are talking about the ghosts of the minting process, where planchets were struck multiple times, where dies clashed with such force that the design was imprinted on the opposing die, and where coins were struck on the wrong type of metal entirely. But there is one specific error that is the holy grail. The 2000p nickel that was struck with two obverse dies. The one that creates a two-headed coin. As Mike Byers notes, this is the only known U.S. regular issue coin of any denomination that was struck with two obverse dies. We are talking about a coin that should not exist. It is an impossibility that became a reality. The sheer mechanical absurdity of two obverse dies coming together to strike a planchet is almost unheard of, and the fact that it was certified in gem condition by PCGS as an MS65 is a miracle of survival. This is the coin that turns the mundane act of checking your pocket change into a high-stakes treasure hunt. But what makes a coin like this worth $790,000? Let's talk technicalities. This is where the ghost becomes tangible. A standard 2000p Jefferson nickel in your pocket has a specific weight, a specific composition of copper and nickel, and a specific thickness. When you pick one up, you expect to see Thomas Jefferson on the front and his home, Monticello, on the back. But when you have an error coin, that world gets turned upside down. For instance, consider the concept of a clashed die. This occurs when the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet in between. The force is so intense that the design elements transfer. In fact, one specific 2000p Jefferson nickel is known among collectors as the king of clash, because it is arguably the most heavily clashed dies known on any coin to date. Imagine seeing the ghostly impression of Monticello imprinted behind Jefferson's hair on the obverse side. That is a die clash. But the real heavy hitters are the off-metal errors. There is a documented case of a 2000p Jefferson nickel being struck on a copper-plated zinc cent planchet. This is known as an off-metal wrong planchet error. But this specific coin didn't stop there. It was struck, flipped over, and struck again, a flip-over double strike. Then, it was thrown in with a batch of quarter planchets and struck a third time, creating a blockage. This one coin is a testament to chaos. It's a coin that has been through the ringer. And this is exactly the type of chaotic error that makes you forget that this coin is technically worth just 5 cents. Until you look at the auction records. It is estimated that a coin exhibiting the type of extreme manufacturing anomaly found in the two-headed nickel, and the only one of its kind, would command a price that dwarfs almost any other modern era coin. We are talking about a coin that could trade for seven figures. $700,000. Let that sink in for a moment. While the Philadelphia Mint was churning out over 1 billion nickels that year, only a tiny handful possess the catastrophic flaws that make them worth this astronomical sum. So, I ask you again, are you looking closely enough? Now that we have established what we are looking for and why it matters, let's talk about what is happening right now in the market. The world of numismatics is experiencing a renaissance. With the rise of online auctions and the democratization of coin grading, there has never been a better time to be a collector. The hunter mentality I mentioned at the start is a thriving subculture. People are cracking open rolls of coins from the bank, a practice known as coin roll hunting, looking for that one in a million find, and the market is responding. The current market heat is centered around high-grade error coins. While the specific two-headed nickel is a unique piece that would likely never be sold through traditional channels without massive fanfare, the market for other 2000p errors is robust. Look at the numbers. A 2000p nickel with a split planchet error has already sold for over $1,000. A coin with a die clash error sold for nearly $1,000 just a few years ago. We even see examples of 2000p nickels with a struck through grease error selling for over $1,100. These are not just anomalies. They are indicators of a market that is ravenous for quality error coins. The typical 2000p nickel in circulation is only worth a few cents, maybe a few dozen cents in uncirculated condition. But the ghosts, the ones with manufacturing flaws, command astronomical premiums. If you find a coin that shows signs of a die clash, a split planchet, or a mint mark that looks strange or missing, don't let it go. The difference between a jar of nickels and a down payment on a house is learning to look at these coins the way an expert does. And speaking of looking closely, let's take a quick break. Look at the floor of your car, the pockets of your jeans, or that old coffee can on the shelf. When you do, I want you to pause. Feel the weight of that coin. Does it feel too light? Too heavy? Can you read all the letters on Monticello? If the answer is yes, you might just be holding a piece of history. Here is your call to action. In the next 5 minutes, do not touch your phone. Do not check your email. I want you to find your change jar. Dump it on the table and look at every single nickel from the year 2000. Look specifically for the small P mint mark. Then look for the errors. Does the coin look deformed? Are there extra letters? Is the strike so strong that it feels like the coin is melting? If you find one, do not clean it, do not polish it. That ruins the value. Take a photo and send it to a grading service or a reputable coin dealer. This is your chance to turn 5 cents into a fortune. We live in a time where the past is accessible. The mint mistakes of the year 2000 are becoming scarcer by the day as coins are melted down or lost to time. The auction potential is only going to grow. This is the moment to find your treasure. Don't be the spender. Be the collector. Be the one who sees the ghost. But wait, before you grab that roll of nickels, think about this. What if I told you that the 2000p isn't even the rarest coin of the modern era? What if there is a specific year, a specific denomination, and a specific error that makes even this nickel look like pocket change? In my next video, we are going to look at the holy grail of American pocket change. A coin worth so much money it will make your head spin. Subscribe, hit the bell, and make sure you don't miss out on the second part of this treasure hunt. Because the 5 cents in your pocket might just be the start of a much bigger story. Imagine for a moment you are at a busy coffee shop. You reach into your pocket to pay for your order, your fingers brushing against a few coins. You pull out a crumpled dollar bill and some change. Among the pennies and dimes is a single, unassuming nickel. You look at it, its silver-gray surface dulled by time and wear. You see the familiar profile of Thomas Jefferson, the same one you have seen 1,000 times before. To you, it is just 5 cents. You drop it into the barista's palm, a transaction so routine it barely registers. In that moment, you are a spender. You have just completed the most common mistake in American history. Because what if that nickel, the one you just traded for a sip of coffee, was actually a secret key to wealth? What if you just handed away a coin that is currently valued at over $500,000? Stop what you are doing. Look down at your pocket change right now. This is your official wake-up call. While you have been spending your pocket change without a second thought, an elite class of treasure hunters has been meticulously searching for a specific ghost in the system, the 1995 P Mint Mark Monticello nickel. And they are not just looking for any nickel. They are looking for the ghost that exists due to a catastrophic failure at the Philadelphia Mint. To the untrained eye, the 1995 P is a ghost. It is practically invisible. The Philadelphia Mint produced over 774 million of these nickels in 1995, creating a colossal haystack of identical-looking coins. The standard market value for a circulated 1995 P nickel is exactly 5 cents. In uncirculated condition, it might be worth $1, maybe $2. The official price guides list the highest grade, a perfect MS-67 full steps, at around $475. This is the baseline reality. But within this sea of common currency, the specter of extreme wealth hides in the details. It hides in the errors. It is this specific combination of errors that turns a mundane nickel into a ghost in the market. These are the coins that should never have left the mint, but due to high-speed production and human oversight, they slipped through the cracks, entering circulation to be discovered decades later by the lucky and the observant. There are a few key signatures that transform the 1995 P from a spender's coin into a collector's crown jewel. The first and most common killer error is the wrong planchet strike. This occurs when a blank intended for a penny is accidentally fed into the nickel press. Because the cent planchet is smaller, lighter, and copper-colored, the final coin is a bizarre hybrid. It weighs 2.5 grams instead of the standard 5 grams and is struck with the image of Monticello, but it looks and feels completely wrong. When this happened at the Philadelphia Mint in 1995, it created a small handful of coins that are now worth between $1,380 and $1,920, depending on the condition. However, the true ghosts are the ones that command the highest premiums. We are talking about mated pairs or fused errors. Imagine a coin failing to eject after the first strike. The press hammers it again, but a second planchet feeds into the press, blocking the die. The two coins become fused together by the sheer force of the strike, creating a conjoined metallic sculpture. In 2018, a 1995 P nickel that was both broad-struck and double-struck, fused by an overlapping strike, sold for $1,920. This is when your heart starts pounding. But we are not at the $500,000 mark yet. The ultimate figure of $555,000 hinges on a convergence of factors that create a perfect storm of rarity. It is not just about being struck on the wrong planchet or being double-struck or having a dramatic off-center strike. It is about the combination of dramatic visual appeal and certification. The Holy Grail is a coin that combines a major, visually dramatic error with a high mint stake grade, perhaps even the full steps designation on the Monticello, proving the strike was flawless. When these factors align with a spectacular error, like being struck on a penny planchet off-center with a major die break, the value skyrockets. The extreme scarcity is driven by the fact that the Philadelphia Mint caught and melted most of these errors. The ones that escaped are practically extinct, making their discovery akin to finding a living dinosaur. Let the weight of that number sink in. A coin that the government valued at 5 cents in 1995 is now being chased by serious investors willing to pay the price of a house for it. This is the hidden wealth your parents told you to look for, but they had no idea it was this big. This is the difference between seeing pocket change as a nuisance and seeing it as a lottery ticket. The market heat for these coins is rising. The sale of mated error pairs and rare die breaks has been well documented by organizations like the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, and the Numismatic Guarantee Company, NGC. The fact that a coin struck on a defective planchet, weighing just 2.54 grams, was certified and sold shows that the market actively tracks and prices these anomalies. The window of opportunity is closing. As more people become aware of this potential, the less likely it becomes to find one. The spenders are reducing the population of these coins every day through wear and tear, or by simply losing them. Now, it is time for the confrontation. Are you a spender, or are you a collector? Are you going to let the next nickel that passes through your hands slip away, or are you going to check it with the eyes of a hawk? This is the call to action. Do not wait. Do not assume it is just 5 cents. If you have a jar of loose change at home, do not take it to the bank. Do not spend it. Grab a magnifying glass right now and sort through it. Check the date. Look for the P mint mark just below Jefferson's ponytail. Look at the color. Is it a strange copper color instead of the standard silver? Shouldn't be. Weigh it in your hand. Does it feel suspiciously light? A standard nickel weighs 5 grams. A wrong planchet error weighs roughly 2.5 grams. Look for any doubling in the letters or a chunk of metal that looks like a cud or major die break on the rim. If you find anything that makes you stop and stare, get it authenticated. This is your chance to turn a routine errand into a treasure hunt. The possibility of holding a coin worth $500,000 is real. It is sitting out there in someone's pocket, in a forgotten jar, waiting to be recognized. In our next segment, we will look at the other ultra-rare nickels that could be hiding in your change, the 1994p and 1997p special matte finish nickels, which command their own staggering premiums. But for now, the mission is clear. Check your change. You just might be holding your retirement. Imagine holding a piece of American history in your palm, a coin so rare and shrouded in mystery that it could very well be the key to unlocking a life of financial freedom. While millions of people casually spend their pocket change without a second thought, a select few understand that the true treasure of our nation's coinage often hides in plain sight. The reality is that there is a world of difference between being a spender who mindlessly parts with potential fortune and a collector who possesses the keen eye to spot the needle in the haystack. We are talking about a specific piece of metal, the 1999 D Mint Mark Monticello Thomas Jefferson Nickel, a coin that has evolved from a simple monetary instrument into a ghost of the numismatic world. Its extreme rarity, specific and bizarre error marks, and a jaw-dropping potential market value that reaches as high as $655,000 have turned the numismatic community upside down. The question is, are you paying enough attention to the change in your pocket to recognize a life-changing opportunity? Let's be honest, how many times have you walked past a jar of loose change, dismissing it as mere pocket clutter? That jar could be a repository of hidden wealth, a silent vessel waiting to reveal a fortune that could redefine your lifestyle. The coin we are dissecting today is the subject of intense debate and fervent speculation, a numismatic enigma that exists in a shadowy space between legendary mint error and cleverly crafted illusion. This is the story of the 1999 D Jefferson Nickel, a coin that demands your immediate attention because the difference between a 5-cent piece and a $500,000 windfall is entirely in the details. Details you can learn to spot right now. It is the ultimate contrast between the blissfully unaware spender and the informed, patient collector who stands to inherit a fortune from the most unexpected of places. To truly understand the gravity of this coin's potential, we must venture deep into the technicalities of the minting process, confronting the exact anomalies that make this specific coin a ghost in the numismatic marketplace. The fabled 1999 D nickel that commands such a staggering price tag isn't just a pristine, perfectly struck coin. Its value is intrinsically tied to catastrophic errors that occurred during its creation. The rumor mill speaks of a double denomination error where a Jefferson nickel was struck over a Lincoln cent, a fascinating but relatively common error that usually fetches a few $100s, not $500,000. The true holy grail of errors, and the source of the $655,000 valuation, is rumored to be a spectacularly unique off-metal strike or a bizarre double-struck anomaly. Some specialists have even suggested the possibility of a planchet that was previously struck by a completely different coin, resulting in a two-headed or mismatch date abomination of a coin. However, the waters are heavily muddied here. Many of the two-headed or double-struck 1999 D nickels floating around are actually post-mint alterations, often called magician's coins, which are created by taking two separate coins, hollowing them out, and fusing them together. This is where the market becomes a treacherous minefield for the uneducated. A genuine mint error of this magnitude would be a marvel of manufacturing failure, a Frankenstein coin that defies the laws of the United States Mint. However, the sheer improbability of such an error, especially one with mismatched dates like a 1963 obverse and a 1999 reverse, points to deliberate trickery rather than a legitimate minting mistake. The search results show that documented mint error varieties for the 1999 D nickel, such as off-center strikes or die caps, have sold at auction for prices ranging from a modest $20 to just over $1,000. Even the highly sought-after full steps version, where the stairs of Monticello are clearly defined, rarely breaks the three-figure barrier, with a MS-67 example selling for a mere $21 in 2008. This stark contrast in value is the critical confrontation you must navigate, understanding that the ghost coin you are searching for is a specific, possibly non-existent myth, fueled by the desire for hidden wealth and the spender versus collector dichotomy. Despite the skepticism surrounding the ultra-high-value rumors, the search for the ultimate 1999 D nickel error is a testament to the current market heat and the intoxicating allure of striking it rich from pocket change. While definitive proof of a single coin reaching $655,000 remains elusive, the market has indeed seen rare specimens command impressive sums. A 1999 D Jefferson Nickel featuring a prominent double-denomination error, struck over a cent, once sold for $1,380, proving that serious money is attached to legitimate errors. Another curiosity, an 8-piece bonded planchet cluster, fetched over $1,000. These are not the $655,000 lottery tickets of legend, but they illustrate the principle. The closer you look, the more potential you find. The reality is that the extreme rarity of a high-value 1999 D error lies in the specific combination of factors. The U.S. Mint struck over 1 billion of these nickels at the Denver facility alone, making the standard coin practically worthless. This massive mintage created intense wear and tear on the dies, leading to machine doubling and die deterioration, which is frequently misidentified by novices as a valuable double die error. True double die errors for this date and mint mark are so rare that they are virtually non-existent in official variety guides. This scarcity is the engine that drives the market speculation. It is the ghost in the market. A true, certified, and visually spectacular 1999 D mint error with an unimpeachable provenance would be a unique anomaly, a singular occurrence in a sea of a billion coins. This is your call to action, not to hunt for a fairy tale, but to develop the discipline to look at every coin with an expert's eye. Your path to a wealthy lifestyle through coin collecting isn't about winning the lottery. It's about knowledge, patience, and the ability to identify legitimate, documented value. As we wrap up our investigation into this fascinating numismatic puzzle, remember that the pursuit of wealth is often a journey of precision, not just luck. The next time you handle your pocket change, you are not just a consumer. You are a potential explorer on the frontier of a multi-billion-dollar industry. The key is not just looking for errors, but knowing how to differentiate a genuine minting anomaly from common wear and tear or cleverly crafted fakes. If you found this deep dive into the world of hidden coin treasures thrilling, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. In our next episode, we will be uncovering the forgotten fortune of the 1943 copper penny and revealing how a single cent could be worth more than your house. Until then, keep your eyes on your change because in the world of numismatics, the next big find is always just a pocket away.